Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Officers arrived and did locate two shooting victims inside of a vehicle.
Two teenagers are shot in the Auburn High School parking lot. One victim is on the mend while the other fights for his life. Rockford's police chief calls on teens to put the guns down.
Gangs in Freeport keep police busy. Investigators say the deadly feud is causing panic in the community. A murdered teen's family speaks out.
When pets suffer medical emergencies, owners often turn to Rockford's 24/7 clinic. Vets say furry friends will get even better care now that the center's moving to a bigger building. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. Bullets fly outside of Rockford High School. Police say two teenagers were shot around 1 this afternoon.
Meanwhile, 3 suspects are in custody. The shooting sent multiple schools into lockdown. Alexis Carpello is live outside of Auburn High School. Alexis, how are Auburn parents reacting tonight?
Eric and Mimi, after 2 teens were shot in this parking lot here at Auburn High School, the Rockford police chief is calling on the community to step up to help reduce gun violence. Rockford officers were called for a shooting here around 1:10 this afternoon. Police tell us a 17-year-old male and female were sitting inside a car in the school's parking lot when they were both hit. The male is in serious condition. The female is expected to be okay. Police Chief Carla Red could not confirm if they were students. She did tell us 3 people, though, are in custody. And after a shooting in broad daylight on a school campus, she's calling for the gun violence to stop.
So at this point, I'm calling out. This is the public cry for help. Step up and get involved. There's more than enough work that goes around. I know that right now, and it's not going to be left on 2 or 3 organizations. We need everybody to get involved to help deal with the issues that we're facing.
Coming up at 6, hear more from Chief Red on ending gun violence, as well as from the RPS superintendent. But for now, reporting live in Rockford for your home team, I'm Alexis Carpello.
All right, Alexis, thanks for that live update.
A driver slams into an ambulance headed to an emergency. This happened around 11 this morning near North Main and Riverside in Rockford, right by the Chase Bank. Investigators say the sedan failed to yield to the ambulance. The car had major front end damage. That driver went to the hospital. The ambulance crew was not hurt.
Freeport police say violent crime has been on the rise in the city over the last 2 years. Investigators say senseless shootings are leaving too many families in mourning. Rachel Perry caught up with the Freeport police chief to discuss the crime wave. Rachel, we talked with the chief more than once over the last few months about what he calls a gang violence problem.
That's right, Mimi and Eric. Chief Summers tells me violence there spiked in 2020 and stayed high through 2021. He says majority of that is tied to 2 gangs in their community.
15 people were struck by gunfire in those incidents. 5 of those lost their lives.
It's a number Police Chief Matthew Summers says is unacceptable.
All the emotions that you go through. I mean, so much frustration nights, when my phone rings and we've had another shooting. We've had another shooting. It's sad. It's sad.
Summers tells me one major hurdle Freeport faces is gang violence, an issue dating back nearly 20 years, and one people are fed up with.
The overwhelming majority of the violence that we've seen here in town is because of these 2 gangs. Too many innocent people that had nothing to do with the gang disputes or anything like that have been caught up in the middle of it, and I think Freeport is tired of it.
He says while it may seem unrealistic, his goal for 2022 is for the violence to end.
We lose 1 person, that's too many. No more 16-year-olds that are shot, anything like that. No more just guys sitting in a car watching Monday Night Football shot for absolutely no reason.
The 16-year-old Summers is referring to is Kiana Clark. Kiana was murdered in September while hanging out with friends.
And the car came around and just started shooting.
Her parents are still seeking answers and justice.
You got to speak up. If you don't speak up, there's never going to be a change. It's just going to get worse.
And Kiana's dad has this message for her killers.
You're going to get caught, and when you do, I hope you rot in jail, because she didn't get to live her life, so you don't need to live yours either.
If you have any information on who killed Kiana Clark, call Freeport Police or Crime Stoppers. Mimi?
All right, thanks, Rachel. In addition to Freeport police working crime scenes, they're also searching for missing people, like 14-year-old Michaela Errada. Investigators say she was last seen December 13th. Michaela is 5'6", around 155 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes, and has a nose ring. Police hope the public can help find this missing teen.
We're looking for a missing juvenile female that walked off from a house that she was placed in, and if anybody has any information about it, please call the Freeport Police Department.
The National Center for Missing or Exploited Children says the teen could be in the state line or in Lincoln, Illinois. If you know where Michaela is or have any information on this case, call Freeport Police or 911.
The Forest City's only 24/7 emergency veterinarian clinic is moving to a bigger building.
The Animal Emergency Clinic of Rockford will open its doors at the new location later this week. Michelle Errada caught up with staff, and Michelle, they say more space is needed to meet demand.
Eric, Mimi, an animal emergency clinic has been serving many state line pets for over 20 years, but vets and staff are running out of space. So for the next 3 days, they'll shut their doors to make way for a bigger and better facility.
Last year was we had a lot of parvo cases, so we were needing a bigger space. So now we've got that bigger space.
Dr. Kevin Thrall is medical director for the Animal Emergency Clinic in Rockford. The clinic has been operating from this location on Moray Drive for the past 20 years, but now they're moving.
Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of the old facility. We have 2 surgery rooms, many more runs, a fenced-in outside walking area, which was real important for us. We have more space in the isolation ward as well. Everything is bigger and more of them. So we have 4 tables for our treatments and for exams, so that makes it so that we can be doing treatments faster.
The clinic will be closed for 3 days in order to make the move to the new Spring Creek Road location. During that time, pet owners will have to turn to other 24-hour clinics.
The most close clinics, unfortunately, are a bit of a drive. So Janesville, Madison, Crystal Lake, Buffalo Grove, and Aurora are probably the closest 24-hour ERs to us. We've been working on it for probably about 1.5 years. The building's been going for about a year, and it's been really a roller coaster ride with COVID and everything going on with how to get the building going.
Thrall says he, along with his staff of 50, are excited to be able to get pets the best treatment in a timely manner.
Currently, there's a lot of times where we're waiting for a table to do the treatments, and so now we've got 2 surgery rooms and 4 exam tables that we can be doing treatments on to hopefully get people home with their pets faster.
The plan is to be up and running again by Friday night at 6 p.m. Thrall mentioned if any pet owner is experiencing an emergency, consult with their local vet first. Mimi, Eric.
2021 had many ups and downs, but for Veterans Memorial Hall and Museum in Rockford, it was a year of renovations.
The museum director says improvements will continue into 2022. Michaela Delgado got a sneak peek at some of the updates. Michaela, tell us what's new.
That's right, Eric and Mimi. Veterans Memorial Hall and Museum is over 120 years old, and with age comes a lot of upkeep.
We were lucky enough to get a company to come in and do the work on the actual building, the Bedford limestone, the steps, the windows, the doors, a company who's familiar with historic renovation.
Veterans Memorial Hall and Museum is a place to preserve, display, and share veteran stories. The historical landmark is currently undergoing a bit of a makeover.
Restore our windows and paint them and fix their wood windows so they do rot. And they've been repaired. The entire limestone building has been pressure washed and tuck pointed. All the cracks have been filled.
Museum Director Scott Lewandowski says this is just the start.
Our goal is you want to, again, keep the historical integrity of the building intact, but yet you do want to have it accessible to everyone.
But renovating a historical landmark isn't like building a house. Curator Leanne Wright says they have to make sure to follow the National Register guidelines.
It was built out of local Bedford limestone. We didn't have automobiles. We didn't have the kind of soot and the kind of air pollution that we have nowadays. And it's very damaging to the limestone of this building.
They also want to make sure everyone has access to the museum, to make sure the stories of our veterans can continue to be remembered.
That's what we're here to talk about, is the stories of these people And as long as we can keep this building, which is our #1 artifact, going and keep it in good shape, that's what we're going to do.
The museum was given several local and state grants to pay for the preservation. Eric, Mimi?
Now, your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, we have got a lot to talk about. First with the wind, then blowing and drifting snow, and then the tumbling temperatures here as we go over the next 24 hours. Numbers actually rising today, but our wind chills because of the wind still in the 20s. Temperatures sitting in the low 30s at 32 in Rockford, Janesville, 31 in Freeport, but upper teens, low 20s for that wind chill because of that southerly wind. Now, this wind actually going to increase a bit as we go through the night tonight. Already winds gusting near 25 miles per hour. That wind speed going to increase to 30. So as we go through this evening, blowing and drifting snow will continue and actually worsen a bit on those east-west roads. So keep that in mind if you have to go out later tonight. Our skies, they've been filled with the cloud cover. Live look with our Mercial Sky Track camera out in Rochelle. Now, we do have a winter weather advisory that will go into effect at 9 o'clock tonight for all of northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, but that is not because we are expecting to see a significant amount of snow. It's because of the wind increasing and the blowing and drifting snow and the hazards that will provide on the roads later tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. So let's look at that wind. I said the wind increases here, and it does, coming in as we get closer to midnight. But once that cold front comes in, that cold air is going to rush in. Our wind will shift around to the west. Later tonight, between about 12 and 2 o'clock, winds will gust as high as 35 to 40 miles per hour from the west during the morning tomorrow. We could have some peak wind gusts coming in at 45 miles per hour at times through at least the early part of the day. So the impact that has here on our roadways with the blowing and drifting snow, east-west roads tonight, tomorrow going to be those north-south roads with that westerly wind. Temperatures are also going to tumble too. Now we are going to see some light snow showers, maybe a dusting, couple tenths of an inch of snowfall between tonight and then throughout the day tomorrow. And so of course that's going to blow around here as it comes down, but I think the bigger impact will be with that blowing and drifting. So hazardous conditions possible, especially in the open areas. You get more within the city limits around buildings, you're not going to feel that so much, but you're in the open areas. So think about if your commute tomorrow takes you through an open area, those open roads, you're going to have some problems. Now let's talk about the wind chill. 10 below for the wind chill. That's tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, Thursday morning, we're down to 15 below. Thursday afternoon, wind chills during the day, still around 10 below. And then Friday morning, even though the wind isn't going to be as strong, that wind chill could get down to 25 degrees below zero. So frostbite 20 to 30 minutes with that kind of wind chill factor. Temperatures are actually going to stay in the low 30s through about midnight. You've got a couple of lighter snow showers, some lighter accumulations up to the north. Wind picks up, temperatures fall. We start off right around 30 degrees once we get to midnight, and then 6 a.m. tomorrow, that temperature will be down to 16. We're going to spend most of the day tomorrow in the low teens, down to 2 Wednesday night, 13. That's it for Thursday, 11 on Friday. That's after waking up to 6 below. That's not our only sub-zero temperature, guys. Look at that by the end, early, I should say, next week.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
And the Fighting Illini basketball team will finally take the court tonight. COVID is seemingly behind the Illini. They will play at Minnesota. It's the Illini's first game in 13 days. Minnesota's 10-1. The Illini are 9-3 and just outside the top 25 in the national rankings this week. Where does this Illini team fit in the Big Ten race this season? As usual, the conference is the deepest in the country. Purdue, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Wisconsin are off to excellent starts, and they're all ranked in the top 25. Iowa and Minnesota have also looked good. Right now, I don't see one team as being so far superior to the rest of the field that it can be called the favorite. It's about which team improves the most over the next 2 months. The Illini could be that team that takes a big step up if they can get point guard Andre Curbelo back on the court. He's played in only 4 games this season because of a concussion and lately some undisclosed issues that head coach Brad Underwood won't reveal. Underwood is optimistic that Curbelo is making good progress. If Curbelo returns soon, this team could really take off. Kofi Coburn is already a Player of the Year candidate. Alfonso Plummer's been a scoring machine. Another key for this team is Trent Frazier. He needs to become more consistent, but over his last 4 games, he is averaging more than 17 points. So maybe they'll get that consistency from Frazier. I like this team a lot. I could see the Illini challenging for the top of the Big Ten again, but again, Curbelo is the key. Well, Fred VanVleet will also be back on the court tonight. The Raptors host the Spurs. In his last 2 games, VanVleet has scored 31 points and 35 points. This is his best shot yet at being named an NBA All-Star. His numbers are impressive. He's 19th in the NBA in scoring. He's 14th in assists. He's even averaging 5 rebounds a game, which ranks 84th. Not bad for a 6'1" point guard. His 1.6 steals per game ranks 11th in the league. And his player efficiency rating is the 40th best in the league. That shows a player's production per minute of action. If I had my choice of the top NBA point guards, this would be my top 5. Steph Curry of the Warriors, Trae Young of the Hawks, Damian Lillard of the Trailblazers, Ja Morant of the Grizzlies, and Darius Garland of the Cavaliers. Chris Paul would be next, and Fred VanVleet would be 7th. Kyrie Irving will always get a lot of All-Star consideration, but he hasn't played yet this season. So that's 8 elite point guards off the top there. It's a tough group to crack when only 5 or 6 guards will be named All-Stars at the point guard spot. Fred has a shot, but it's how the public, the players, and the coaches vote.
Breezy conditions out there today made it feel a lot colder.
Yeah, temperatures were in the 30s, but wind chills are still in the upper teens and low 20s. And so not a lot of warmth when you talk about that wind out there, despite it from the south.
If you could be somewhere where maybe there was a wind, or even in your car, and you didn't feel the effect of the wind, and you had the sun coming in, that helped a little bit. But yeah, you're right. The wind did not even get you feel like it was even close to 32 degrees today.
And unfortunately, the wind is only going to increase for tonight, and it's really going to pick up here through the overnight and into tomorrow. We've got a couple of flurries that'll fly through the overnight. First warn interactive radar, good place to follow all of that with the southerly wind today, east-west roads and open areas. There's been quite a bit of blowing and drifting snow already. That's actually going to increase tonight and actually make travel a little bit more on the dangerous side in those open areas, especially with the blowing and drifting snow. West winds tomorrow, north-south roads are going to be more of an impact here. Temperatures are going to tumble as we go throughout the week.
All right, thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some time with us. Stay safe.